Welcome back to CuriousHorse. So, for those of you that know, I won my first Frisian horse at the auction in Indiana. We had a major quarantine breach, and we've had a delayed integration, but we're ready for integration. So let's get started. It's a show. It's something I can learn from, and I hope you can help me dissect this integration.
Good morning, Drakaina. I hear you. Good morning. Kina is going to meet Patriot today and Reese, and I'm hoping that they get along really good. You're going to meet your sister today. You're going to meet your sister. You can smell her. You guys going to hang out with Patriot? You guys going to hang out with Patriot today? It'll be good to Patriot. Hey, Drakaina. Hey, Reese. I love you. You guys going to be good to Patriot? They don't hang up on her. No biting. No biting, Drakaina. Drakaina is still learning how to show affection. I did notice that sometimes, horses do have to learn how to show affection. Good morning. That was bad. Alrighty. I'm gonna get my drone. So this is gonna be very eventful. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a fun day at the farm. Hopefully no one gets hurt. And I have confidence that they're gonna do good. So our quarantine, come on Sarge boy. Our quarantine, Sarge baby, come on. Our quarantine procedure is complete and it's time to get Drakaina integrated with the herd. First I'm gonna reintroduce Sarge to the herd. Chickens. Good boy, Sargy.
So it's been about close to 4 weeks since Sarge was in the big herd. So I'm reintroducing him to the herd now, and I'm just hoping that there's no biting. So we're gonna see what happens.
I'm hoping that they return to how they were before, no fighting. Come on, Javelin.
For big guys, Sarge can move. His canter is so smooth to ride. He's actually one of my favorite horses to ride ever, but he's very agile. I love it. I'm surprised that Sarge went right over to Prince. Maybe it's to claim his territory.
No, Prince and Sarge has missed each other.
Now he's gonna say hi to the mares, Janana and Maverick.
Good girl, Cakes.
I definitely think that Sarge is telling Prince that he's the boss. What do you guys think? Do you think they're playing, or do you think Sarge is letting Prince know that he's the boss? Alrighty, I'm bringing Drakaina and Reese in from the emu paddock, which wraps around into paddock 1, which I'm entering now. I'm going to push them forward, and they're going to meet the large herd where paddock 1 and 3 meet. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see how Drakaina does. Reese is about to get the Zoomies. He's hysterical. It's hilarious. So to minimize anyone getting hurt, I do have Patriot in paddock 2. And then once Drakaina settles in with like the big herd and Janana and Javelin and all that, then I will let Patriot in. I'm just trying to minimize any risk or, someone getting hurt. And right now, the large herd, they're in paddock 3. I don't think they're fully aware that Drakaina and Reese are in paddock 1, which is adjacent. But they're soon about to find out, and just you wait to see this. So somehow Prince is already back. Javelin's in the front, then Maverick, then Janana. Sarge is catching up. They're about to meet the naughty little pony and Drakaina. This is why I can never get rid of my little Viking pony. Reese, as you know, I won him at the auction also for $2,000, the best I've ever spent. He's so funny. And then here he comes, getting the herd to go crazy. Drakaina is following him everywhere. It's adorable. And you'll see why I don't have Patriot in here coming up now. Drakaina is about to slip. it happens. It's just part of like the chance you take, letting horses out, but it's just what it is. But I have Patriot in the other field to minimize her coming in and galloping altogether in a smaller area like this one. So that's why Patriot's not in paddock 1 right now. She's in paddock 2. But once they calm down, I'm going to introduce Patriot. But once it's controlled, you know? Well, Reese's is definitely the lead horse with Reese's and Drakaina. She is following him everywhere, and it's adorable. He's getting a good workout today, and I'm very excited to see him burn off some calories. My little chunky pony that I have been watching his weight. These are called the pony Zoomies. It's when the pony experiences like a sudden burst of energy and runs around in circles of random patterns, and it's a common behavior in like young animals and ponies, often exhibiting like Zoomies when they are super excited and just happy. So this is the word. It's called Zoomies, or an energetic play and excitement of any animal really, but especially a pony. So I know I haven't said too much about my background. I don't know if it's kind of boring, but I know in the comments people are asking, who is this guy Jack that has this YouTube channel called Curious Horse? So I guess I've been giving information as I go. But I moved here from England as a kid, and then I bought my first farm. Well, let me rewind more. I moved here from England as a child, and then I went to university. I got my degree in accountancy. I'm a CPA. I have a master's degree in taxation, and I specialize in tax technology, specifically around like accounting for Security Exchange Commission public companies, and then post reporting to the IRS. It's kind of sounds boring, but it's not for me. I actually really do like my profession. I'm taking some time off work just to kind of get my farm situated, and I purchased my first farm in 2022 this spring. So 2022 in February this spring. So everything's kind of new right now for me. As most of you already know from watching the majority of my videos, or all of my videos, I seldom talk judgmentally on my channel. I am a new horse farm. This is my first farm. But the main thing is that I do believe is that a horse should be a horse. And the horse is just not there for my convenience or your convenience or anyone's conveniences. So I stand strongly when I advocate for horses that horses should not live in a stall and horses should not be isolated. I don't believe in extended periods of time of stalling a horse unless it's due to an injury or, an isolated event. This includes show horses, regardless of like the perceived value of the horse. That doesn't mean that because a horse. Look at Reese and Prince. Do you think Reese is trying to be alpha over Prince? So cute. It's a show horse that it should be in a stall. I just could never understand that. But isolating horses within a stall interferes with their sleep even. It impairs them cognitively, and it diminishes their ability to perform. Stalls, more likely than not, contain high levels of disease-causing pathogens in the air, such as mold and bacteria. These pathogens can threaten the respiratory health of your horse and also the human that's within the stall. I believe that all horses should have a turnout buddy. This includes ponies and donkeys. If for financial reasons are prohibiting somebody from getting another horse or a pony, then a goat, a lamb, a pig, something. Just don't isolate like your horse to a paddock by itself. I could never understand that, right? But not turning a horse out because of getting, a cosmetic issue or fear of an injury, it just doesn't sit well with me. And studies do show that turnout is preventative as opposed to stalling a horse is preventative. So turning a horse out actually prevents injury, and I have witnessed this before too. And so what are everyone else's thoughts on turnout and horses being in isolation? I'm just curious to hear both sides of the spectrum. And before I owned a farm, I boarded my horse at a facility, and as unconventional as this may sound, like my horse was not getting the turnout that I had requested. So I would tip the groom, a minimal amount of money per week just to ensure that he was getting turned out, and then night turnout actually. And then many times I would drive to the farm in the middle of the night and do a spot check to make sure my horse was turned out. And if he wasn't turned out, then I wouldn't tip the groom that was responsible for the arrangement that I had made. And eventually, the facility groom will turn your horse out if you make some type of arrangement with them financially. And it doesn't have to be a lot, especially for the grooms that live on the property. It's not that much work to turn out a horse in the night, right? So I would work on making an arrangement if that's the reason that the horse is being stalled. And I know I do not have as much experience as many other professionals and horse traders, but fundamentally, I think we should all agree. Well, I don't think we all have to agree, but fundamentally, I think that it's in the best interest that isolating and stalling a horse for extended period of times, it's just against the nature of the horse. And I don't think there's any justification for it, but I could be wrong, so let me know your thoughts. So here, Drakaina and Reese want to say hi, but Javelin broke them up. Javelin's my alpha horse. So when I first bought my farm in 2022, I actually closed on my property. I didn't have any fencing, but I bought 2 horses prior to the fencing being put up, and that was Janana and Javelin. So they were my first 2 horses. And initially, I just had this one paddock fenced in that you can see Reese and Drakaina are in. And I was working on the large paddock, which is the paddock that the main herd is in. And that took me quite some time just to get comfortable with turning them out on this much land, just because of objects and like metal components that I found within the field that I went around with like a metal detector and just preparing it to be a safe turnout field. But it did take some time. You may notice that Drakaina has frequently gone back to this corner. I do think that she's missing the emus a little bit. She really did make a bond with the emus. It's adorable. Did you see Drakaina's trip right there? There's something going on in this part of my property. I thought I cleaned up most of it, but I gotta get back. Do you see her trip? And this is the same area that Prince was tripping that one time when I was riding him. Today has been quite eventful. So far, we have reintroduced Sarge back into the main herd, and fortunately, it wasn't eventful. I also put Patriot in a different paddock just to reduce the initial risk factor of Drakaina and Reese meeting the large herd. As expected, Javelin and Janana are putting on a powerhouse display and letting Drakaina know who are the bosses. This has happened with every new horse, and I would be more surprised if they didn't put on this display, to be honest. It's just what my mares do. Patriot is currently in the paddock number 2 behind my house, and once all the chaos quietens down, I'm then going to introduce Patriot with Reese and Drakaina. This is my first time introducing 2 yearlings, and I'm hoping that they don't immediately get into, establishing the pecking order, who's boss. I want it to be quiet, and I'm kind of hoping that with the amount of energy that Reese's and Drakaina has expended, that this will kind of carry over to Patriot's integration, and therefore will be much less eventful and running around. But based upon your understanding of my herd so far, who do you think will be the dominant horse out of Reese's, Drakaina, and Patriot? Or do you think that Reese's just going to reestablish his dominance and then Patriot and Drakaina can figure it out, or will they be equal? We're going to have to find out. Patriot has had a recent growth spurt, so maybe My Little Pony Reese's is gonna need to reestablish his pony dominance. But what do you think? And this video is getting quite long already, so I'm gonna continue a part 2 tomorrow with Drakina and Reese's and Patriot in the big paddock, and let's see what happens. I'm hoping it's gonna be nice and quiet.
Sarge is going to check out the big hay feeder. He's hungry. Hey, Maverick. Hey, Janana. Do you see Sarge galloping back there? Good girl, beautiful. I love you. I love you. Hey, Janana. Good babies.
Janana is definitely the boss of Maverick.
Janana, you are dirty, baby. You need a bath. I've cut her feet down, but I know she looks too big. Maverick. I think Maverick has a good weight. What do you think? Come on, handsome. Come on, Princey boy. You look like a bunny rabbit today. Good boy.
I hope you enjoyed watching. Tomorrow, Patriot and Drakaina will be turned out together for the first time, so stay tuned. I'm going to close out the video with just calling in my horses for feeding, and then I'm going to show my peacocks at the end. My peacocks are free range, and they sleep in the trees at night. It's very pretty to watch. Just stay tuned until the end if you like peacocks.
Come on.
Polar bear.
Good night, peacocks. Peacock.